In this video, we're going to look at some further elements of good academic writing. We'll start by looking at structure, namely paragraph organisation, and then go on to talk about paraphrasing. The first tip that I'm going to give you is to always write in assignments in full sentences and paragraphs. There is another video that we have produced about grammar and punctuation, which goes into sentence structure in more detail. But essentially, all your sentences should feature some kind of main verb and be making a complete point. Writing in note form or bullet point style is generally not suitable for the main body of essays and reports. Also, your written work should be comprised of sentences grouped together in paragraphs. These paragraphs will help to create organisation in your written work, and the idea is that each paragraph should revolve around a central theme or point. There is no set length for a paragraph, but in general we want to avoid paragraphs of just one or two sentences, as these can be quite stop-start for a reader and do not allow for a theme or point to be developed. At the other end, paragraphs should also not be too long, as these could appear too rambly or dense for a reader. In the end, paragraph organisation is about improving the readability of your work. As I said, there is no set length for a paragraph, but as a general guide, paragraphs between 100 and 200 words should do a good job. One method that we like to recommend for paragraph formation is the PEAS model. PEAS stands for Point, Evidence, Analysis, So What. The idea behind the PEAS model is that you begin your paragraphs with a point sentence. What is the central message of this paragraph that you are trying to get across to your reader? Then, in the following sentences, bring in the evidence, the academic information that comes from your reading to back up your point. The analysis part is the next part, and this is probably the most trickiest to explain and to do. However, this is essentially where you guide your reader through your own thoughts on the evidence, perhaps critiquing the ideas or research mentioned, or explaining what the effects of this evidence are. The so what sentence at the end of the paragraph is a way of concisely explaining how the information in the paragraph links up to what you've been asked to do in the assignment itself. When it comes to working on your assignments at university, we think it's essential to plan your assignments before starting to actually write or type out your assignments. This can help you save time in the long run and lead to much more coherent, organised pieces of work at the end. To do this, firstly, determine a sensible number of paragraphs that you will need to complete the assignment, looking at word counts and guidelines to help you. Then try to give each paragraph some kind of label. What is going to be the theme or point of each particular paragraph? We'd also advise writing out the point sentences of each paragraph first, so that you then have a framework for your essay and can go back and fill in the details of the evidence and analysis at a later point. As I said, the PEAS technique and plotting out your point sentences can really help with the paragraph construction and organisation of the main body of your essays and reports. However, you'll also be expected to have an introduction and conclusion to your work, and these paragraphs sometimes work a little differently to the main body paragraphs in terms of construction. For that reason, it can often be effective to save writing these paragraphs until the end of the process. The introduction could begin with a bit of background information about the topic of your assignment, perhaps including a fact or statistic, but it should also give some ideas of what the essay or report will aim to do. In a conclusion, you should try to summarise the main points of your assignment, but not include any new information unless this has been indicated by the guidelines. Now I'm going to talk about paraphrasing. Whilst direct quotations may occasionally have a place in an assignment, the vast majority of your written work should consist of sentences that you have composed yourself. Only by writing in your own words are you able to show a reader or marker that you have understood the content of any reading that you have done and express your own ideas and thoughts clearly. Of course, you're going to refer to other people's work or ideas in your own assignments, but most of the time you will need to not rely on the original words to do this. The best piece of advice we can offer is never to have original sources open in front of you when you are composing sentences for your assignment. Whether that be a physical book or perhaps a journal article open on a tab on your computer. This will resist the urge to copy chunks of language from the original text. It's a good idea to take notes from the original sources, noting these down in note form rather than sentences when reading, and refer to these when compiling your essays. If you need any further support about academic writing, please visit our website or the student app.